What's going on, guys? This is What's Going On Wednesday. Welcome to my channel. Today is actually my very first live stream. So, yay to me. I know that sounds corny, but it is. I wanted to do a live stream just to kind of, introduce myself and, talk about what's going on and, um, hearing what's going on with you guys as well. Trying to get it where I can see the comments, but it's not letting me see any comments. So I can't really respond to any comments because my computer is freezing. So guys. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna kind of chit chat and just talk about myself for about an hour. So, like I said, this is my first time going live. This is What's Going On Wednesday. Thanks for tuning into my channel, Rose J Creates. Make sure you like and subscribe to my page. I have about 20 videos on there. I'm going to be posting more as I go along. But, I'm just still kind of getting used to the vibe and, the YouTube community. But, I kind of started my channel posting videos maybe about a year ago, not quite a full year ago. I wasn't consistent with it. My daughter posts a lot of videos. She does a lot of tutorials on makeup. Her channel is I Am Lovely Monet. And I'm one of her biggest fans. I'm always telling her, post more videos, how-to videos on how to do your makeup. My videos are DIY on different craft projects that I work with using resin. I like using epoxy resin to make different, types of projects. So if you tune into my channel, you'll see, some of the projects that I've worked on. But let's kind of get down to, who I am. I'm a mother. I have two adult daughters. One is 23 and the other one is 28. My 23-year-old has two kids. One is 5 and the other one is a year old. The 5-year-old, his name is Chase. That's my little guy. That's my man. The 1-year-old, her name is Quali Rose. My daughter kind of gave her my middle name. She is very inspirational. She is a good luck baby. She was born 3 months early, and she spent her entire first year of her life in the hospital, in Cardinal Glennon Hospital. She underwent, I think, 4 surgeries. She has a trach in her throat. She has a feeding tube going through her stomach. So she needs assistance with breathing. She needs assistance with feeding. And she has come so far along. Like I say, it's been a little over a year since she was in the hospital. And she got to come home a little right before Thanksgiving. So we got to spend our very first Thanksgiving with Miss Quali Rose. We got to spend our, very first Christmas with Miss Quali Rose. So it was, nice to just be able to, spend time with her and just, kind of watch her grow. She's a little bit behind the times, like any average 1-year-old. When you're in the hospital, you can't be on the floor, you're in a bed, with, the railings pulled up so you can't fall out or roll over. So she didn't have the benefit of learning how to sit on her stomach or lay on her stomach or kind of move or scoot or crawl because, she had to be monitored. So when they finally made the decision to let her go home, my daughter, Brianna, she has nurses come by every single day. Quali still has nurses that come by as if she was at the hospital. So she has, I think, 2 nurses that come by every day. They come from sun up to sundown. They still have to monitor her even though she's at home because, like I said, she's on a breathing tube. She's on a feeding tube. And, she has made great strides. Now she's standing up on her own because at home, we're not going to keep her tied to a bed because, that's unrealistic when you're kind of interacting, throughout your place. You don't want to keep your child in the back of the house or in the bedroom. You want to bring her in, the rest of the house. You want to put her in a high chair so she can strengthen her back. You want to put her in a walker so she can learn how to use her legs because her legs are so skinny. She's top heavy because she's, used to, sitting and not standing. So, she had to learn how to work her legs and kind of get that strength going in her legs. And so she's made great strides, Miss Quali Rose. And I apologize if I am not able to respond. Like I said, my computer is freezing. I'm not sure what's going on with it, but it's not letting me see any comments. I'll deal with it later. But in the meantime, I'll just continue, kind of talking about my family and my home life. And like I said, Miss Carly Rose, she's a really great baby, and she's made great strides, and she's done very well for herself. Now she's learning how to stand on her own. We put her up against the couch, or my daughter puts her up against the couch, and she just kind of stands. She wears hard bottom shoes, and she's doing all these things that she wasn't able to do when she was in the hospital. So it was good that she was able to come home, because at home, we don't, treat her like she's an invalid. We don't treat her like she's disabled. We want her to learn how to, sit in a walker and learn how to scoot backwards. And we want her to be able to sit in a high chair and be fed baby food and learn how to strengthen her back and stuff. So, these are things that, you do when you're at home that you can't always do when you're in the hospital. And so it's just nice to have her home. Like I say, that's my youngest daughter, Brianna. She has 2 kids. My oldest daughter, Moni, her name is Ariel Monet. She has her channel, I Am Lovely Monet. Like I said, I call her Moni. For short. And she does a lot of makeup tutorials on YouTube. I Am Lovely Monet. I'm just fixing my wig, y'all. This wig, I call this wig Miss Kitty. I have a couple of wigs and I call them different names, but this is Miss Kitty, so I hope y'all like Miss Kitty. She's one of my favorite wigs. I love wigs. I'm a wiggy. Just trying to fix my hair, make sure my edges aren't showing. Making sure I look cute for y'all. I'm trying. I'm almost 50 years old, so still got to keep going, making sure I still look good. Anyways, but my 2 daughters, and then it's me. Yesterday I went down to apply it wasn't. I went down. I had applied for unemployment benefits because I had been out of work for about a little over a month, and oh my God, I couldn't tell you the last time, 1, I've been out of work, 2, that I had to apply for unemployment benefits because my background is HR and recruitment, and a lot of the companies, at the end of the year, they're not really hiring. They're kind of scaling back on their hours, and I was working for this temp agency because I left my full-time permanent job. I was not happy there, and it was just not a good situation. I was a manager for a retail company. And the reason I kind of came on board with that company is the job I was working at previously, the store director came in and, she was interacting with me and she says, hey, I really like you. And, you're really great with customers. And she says, I would like for you to come and work for me. And I said, well, what do you do? And she's like, I'm a store director for this company called the At Home Store. And I was like, okay, I've never heard of the At Home Store. And she says, no, it's formerly called Gordon Ridge. And I said, okay, great. And so, she kind of invited me to come and see the store. And I kind of walked around and got to, see the company and kind of learn more about the company. A long story short, I was there for what should have, the promise that I was made to leave a great job that I was doing wasn't delivered. I was told that I could be in my own store in about a year's time, with my background in management and, human resources, I could be in my own store within a year. Well, fast forward 3.5 years later with the company, the store directors were dropping like flies, it was just unrealistic for me to think that I had a future with the company if, the current directors that were in that position were leaving for whatever reason. I don't know what the reasonings were, but they were just leaving. And so I had to come to the realization, like, is this something I see myself doing? Am I happy here? And, I kept kind of, mulling over it, Rose, just kind of, think about yourself. You're thinking about everybody else. Think about yourself. Think about, is this something you see yourself doing? And I just, had that little thought in the back of my head and, I just kept it back there. And then an incident happened. I had an employee come up to me and she wanted to discuss something that was going on in the store. It was an HR issue. And she wanted to let me know that another manager in our store was showing inappropriate pictures of themselves. They sent inappropriate pictures to them. And I said, well, what do you mean? How did they send them? I wanted details. So, we, went in the back. We sat down and we I was like, okay, you need to let me know. Okay, first, let's start from the beginning. Tell me how it led up to this, what happened. more details. And I don't want to go into too many details because, like I say, HR, employees still have a right to privacy. Regardless if I'm not still with the company, they still have a right to privacy. But long story short, the manager sent inappropriate pictures of themselves on Instagram to their Instagram page. And, they were, checking the photos out, and I'm not sure what their thought process was. And when I say I'm not sure what their thought process was, meaning I'm not sure if they, liked it or, obviously they had a problem with it because they brought it to my attention. And then they said, hey, just so you know, I'm not the only one that got these pictures. I'm not the only one that received these pictures. Long story short, like I said, I don't want to get into the whole minutia of it because I'm no longer with the company. Great company, great organization, in whole. It's just, a few bad apples in a particular store. And long story short, 5 employees came up to me because every time I talk to an employee, they inform me another employee. They say, okay, well, this employee knows about these pictures too. This employee said something too. So I would go to this employee, like, hey, I want to sit down and talk to you. This is something that's come to my attention. What are your thoughts about, talking to me about it? Are you comfortable talking to me about it? Do you want to sit? And so, they were comfortable enough. I built a great rapport with my crew and, my coworkers and employees. And so they're like, yeah, this employee showed me pictures of them. This manager showed me pictures of themselves. Um, and then the more and more I start unpeeling that onion, I'm going to say onion. I was going to say orange, but I like oranges. But it was an onion. The more and more I start unpeeling this onion, the more and more I realized more people were involved. More people were, getting images or seeing images or being told things that management shouldn't be discussing or saying or showing to members of staff. So I reached out to our human resources department in our corporate office, and I filed a formal complaint. Received a complaint number, told them the employees that were involved. Some of the employees didn't really want to make a big deal about it. They didn't want to risk losing their job or being ostracized, which I understand. In this Me Too era, you have to wonder, okay, am I going to be ostracized? Am I going to get attacked by, kind of opening up and talking about it? Well, I launched a formal probe with our corporate office. Long story short, I'm going to cut this story down really, really quickly. The 5 employees that came forward, they all quit. Things kind of transpired to the point where they felt like they were their worst fears came true. They felt like they would be ostracized. They felt like they were being attacked. And the person that was doing the attacking and the ostracizing was the person that was in charge of protecting us. The person that was in charge of, should have been handling this appropriately and not making employees feel like, okay, well, why would they send these pictures to you? Making employees feel like, I'm telling you that someone's, one of your management staff is sending inappropriate pictures to me. They're making comments. They're showing images of themselves to me when I'm at work. Why are you asking me? Why are you treating me hostile? And so one by one, they started dropping like flies. The 5 employees that came to me and filed a complaint wound up quitting. They just couldn't work there anymore. And it just broke my heart. And each and every time, they reached out to me, they said, I can't do it anymore. I'm like, what's going on? I will reach out to corporate saying, this is what's going on. Laws prohibit this kind of, situation. You cannot retaliate against a member of staff if they're filing a complaint. You cannot retaliate. But they felt like they were being retaliated against. And I understand because I started to feel like, okay, I'm feeling like I'm being ganged up on because now the manager that's involved, this manager is liked by our big manager. I can't help it that, you have somebody that they're well liked, and this person that's well liked that you've grown fond of and that you can laugh and giggle and play around is doing inappropriate things. And so now everybody that was involved was made out to be the bad guy. I was called into the office and I had to sit down and talk to my store director along with another manager. And when I tell you guys, I felt so attacked. Like, do you, the first response was I got, do you feel better that you brought this to our attention? And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Do I feel better? No, I don't feel better. I hate that I had to bring this to your attention. He's like, well, what role did you play in this? I said, well, the role I played in this is hearing these um, stories that were brought to my attention, reaching out to human resources and letting human resources know what's going on, documenting, taking notes on everything, every conversation, dates and times, where we were at. Was there any other witnesses involved when they're, speaking to me? So that was the role that I told them I played in. And, when I tell you it was no, we appreciate you handling this in a professional manner. Thank you for, no, it was none of that. It was, well, I want to talk about another incident that you did where you text the manager and you were not happy because the manager texted you late at night. Well, it was, I think, Labor Day, and I was working by myself. If you've ever been inside of an at-home store, there's little or no staff. It's ran on a skeleton crew, and this was a holiday. And not only was it a holiday, but I had a new employee there, which meant I couldn't get anything done because I had to keep standing up front of this new employee. So I was having issues kind of getting the returns done. And so the manager, I guess, looked on camera and saw that the returns still hadn't been done and texted me like, why hasn't her exact words was, why didn't you get to the returns? Why aren't the returns being done? And when I tell you, when I read that text, I was like, you got to be kidding me. You're texting me in that tone, knowing that I'm by myself. We've had call-offs. There are literally 2 people in the entire store. You probably think I'm exaggerating. There are 2 people in the entire store. It was me and a new employee. And I'm getting text messages from this manager. Why is this store looking like this? And I just was like, please don't text me anymore. I said, you've pissed me the F off. I said, I'm working by myself on a major holiday. We're slammed and I have a new employee and you're texting me with this BS. That's the words I use. And that's what my store director wanted to talk to me about. Not that 5 employees came to me and that I brought it to corporate attention. I tried to tell him about it originally because I'd like to follow the chain of command. I normally don't go outside of company. My next chain of command would be my store director. But when I brought it to him, he says he didn't want to hear about it. He said, well, if you feel like this is something you can go and talk to the manager about, I prefer that you talk to him about it. But, right now, I don't want to get involved. Those were his exact words. He pretended that conversation never happened. He pretended like I never came to him. I never said anything to him. It's okay. We're going to play this game that I never brought this to your attention, that I reached out to Human Resources, knowing that Human Resources is going to reach out to you. And I said, so, and Human Resources asked me, did I reach out to my store director? And I said, yeah, I tried. But he said he didn't want to talk about it. He didn't want to hear about it. I said, there are some things that were brought to my attention concerning the manager, inappropriate things. He said, I don't want to hear it. He says, if this is something you can handle internally, I prefer that you handle it internally. In other words, he didn't want to get a bad stain on his image of him running the store, because it reflected him as well, that the employees can come to him, that they were able to come to me, and that I was, able to kind of get the steps taken care of. And like I say, all 5 employees who filed the complaint, they all quit. They all of a sudden they were being ostracized every little minute. If they were a minute late, normally, no big deal was being made about it. But all of a sudden, every little nitpick thing that they were doing was put under a spotlight. And so they just said, Rose, I can't do this anymore. I have to go. And, we cried and we just was like, don't do this. Please don't leave this way. And I said, here's the case number. Reach out to Human Resources. Let them know how you're feeling. Let them know what's going on. And just kind of tell them, how you're feeling and what led you up to wanting to leave. And lost 5 great employees. 1 employee is cursed out. And he just walked out. He just stormed out. He just couldn't take it anymore. And so that what led me to quitting my job. I know I took the long way around this story to explain, why I was filing for unemployment. But, this is, what's going on Wednesday. So I want you to know what's going on. This is my first live channel, and I just wanted you to know what was going on with me. And I apologize if I cannot comment because, I can't. This laptop is freezing. It's not letting me downsize so I can see comments or respond to comments. So I apologize, guys. But just bear with me. My daughter be home maybe in another hour or so, and she can fix. This is her Apple laptop, and normally, there's no issues with Apple products. They, have really great products. She always says it's user error. She always says it's me. It's never the product. It's always me. So it probably is. But anyway, so I wound up working one day, and I just felt so defeated. Like I felt like I was the bad guy. The manager that was, sending inappropriate images was still employed. Nothing had happened to them. Well, I can't say nothing had happened to them because I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I'm not there for every single meeting with that particular manager. All I know is that the manager was still there. The 5 employees quit. The manager was still there. When I quit, the manager was still there. But I just said this isn't what I want to do anymore. I'm not happy with the system and the way it worked out. I don't blame the company. I just blame just the way things played out. So I reached out to my district manager and I just told him I'm not happy. Of course, he knew everything that was going on as well. And I just told him, I said, I'm not happy and I just want to move on and I want to get back into human resources. So I wound up quitting my full-time permanent job. And a friend of mine who is a recruiting specialist kind of told me about a position for a company. It was a really great company called Centene. Really, really great company. My sister works for them. And she's been there for, I think, almost 3 years. And she loves it. Great culture, great value. And he told me they were hiring for a recruiter. And so I was like, great. He said, with your background in human resources, it'll be a great fit for you. So I wound up, getting the job. And I loved it. It was an amazing experience. And they had meetings literally 2 to 3 times a week. We had up to 2 to 3 meetings a week. When you're dealing with human resources, and this was human resources on a corporate level. I've never worked in a corporate environment. This was my first time working in a corporate environment. And so I got to experience human resources on the back end rather than on the front end. And it was a whole big, big, big difference. Meetings consistently, like I say, 2 to 3 meetings a week. Well, we had 2 to 3 meetings a week, and then we had monthly meetings the third Wednesday or the third Thursday of every month. I would say the third Thursday of every month, we had monthly meetings. And at one of those monthly meetings, they last for hours. And this meeting lasted for 3 hours. And my sister had warned me. She was like, Rose, they are very particular about every little thing you do. They prefer that men wear ties at all times. And this one male employee, he was caught without a tie. And she says, rather than him giving an excuse to justify why he didn't have a tie, he just made it seem like he just didn't want to wear it. So he was terminated that day. He could at least say, I ate something and I spilled it on my tie. And so I removed it. I washed it. And so I apologized when I have my tie. And that would have been, a plausible explanation. But instead, he just like, I just didn't feel like wearing a tie. So the owner, the corporation got word of it, found out what department he worked in, and he was terminated that day. I was there working, and like I said, I was in a corporate meeting, and this was one of the monthly meetings that's about 3 hours long. And I sort of nodded off a little bit. I just, it was 3 hours long, and I kind of nodded off, which is a big no-no because it's a corporate meeting, and someone in corporate saw it. I can laugh about this now. My sisters still laugh about it. We make jokes about it. I can make jokes about it now, but yeah, I nodded off. And I was sitting up there and, I'm just listening and watching, we're on a Zoom link because this is corporate and, we have corporations throughout the country. And so just sitting there at my, at the, conference table with a group of people from different departments, different buildings that I had never, I've seen them, I met them, but we don't work together. And I'm sitting up there and I got comfortable and, the chairs were just so comfortable. And I'm rocking in the chair like I'm doing now. And all of a sudden my head goes like this. And I'm like, oh, I can't believe I just nodded off. So I'm trying to get my wits about me, trying to focus on this screen. And so the next day, my supervisor comes in and Well, no, my supervisor didn't say anything. I go home. This was on a Friday. I get a call from my friend who got me the job. He was a recruiting specialist, and he says, "Hey, Rose, I wanted to talk to you." He called me about 6:30 that night, which I thought was strange. I was like, "Why is he calling me this late at night?" We normally don't talk that late. We normally talk in the daytime because you have his life and his family. I have my life and my family. And he goes, "So what happened at work yesterday?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" He says, "Did you fall asleep in a corporate meeting?" And I'm like, "Oh my God." I was like, "How did you find out?" And he goes, "I got a call saying that someone in corporate saw you fall asleep." And I was like, "Oh my God." I said, "How bad is it?" He goes, "I mean, you know, they just feel like, if you don't care about what you're hearing, that you don't really care about the company." And I was like, "Oh my God." Like when I tell you guys, I was so depressed. Like I was so depressed. Went in my room. I just stayed in my room. My daughter kept coming in there to check on me. She wound up making me breakfast the next day because she knew I was just so depressed. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I lost my job." I have never, ever, never that I can remember or know of. I don't think I'm 48 years old. Never been fired from a job. Never been let go. Never, ever, ever. I've always left on good terms. And this is the first job I not at all in a corporate meeting, one of those monthly corporate meetings. And if you work in a corporate setting, you can understand. 3 hours long, and I kind of nodded off, and I'm like, "Oh my God." So that wound up leaving me out of work. And so I've been actively looking for a job in HR and in recruitment. A lot of companies aren't hiring at the end of the year. It's just, hiring managers just aren't, looking, to bring candidates in the wintertime. It's mainly summertime. And so, like I said, I know it took a long way for me to get back around to this, um, explaining why I had to file for unemployment. So, like I said, I've been out of work for about a month, and my daughter was like, "Why don't you apply for unemployment?" And I'm like, "I don't think I would qualify." And she goes, "Yeah, you would qualify. Go and apply." And so I applied. I'm still waiting to hear back. I just literally just recently applied. Today is Wednesday. I applied on Monday. They sent me this email link that I can't get access to. Something's going on with it. So I wound up calling them, and the lady was like, "Your case is still under review. You'll probably know somebody in the month." She says, "But every Sunday, just keep going online and just kind of keep putting in that you're looking for jobs," which I am. I mean, I have so many resumes that I've uploaded for different companies. So I'm in St. Louis, and so if you guys know any companies that are hiring for human resources or recruiting, let me know. Send me a shout out. I apologize. Like I say, if I can't see your comments, I'm having issues with this laptop. My daughter's going to come home and say this is user error, and it's not the computer itself. I just can't figure it out. But anyway, but I hate having to sort of rely on the system. I know it's there for people, in needs for times like this. But like I said, I'm 48 years old. I don't know that I've ever applied for unemployment. My daughter had to tell me what to do, and you know, um, apparently there is no unemployment office in St. Louis. It's all done online. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, yesterday I wound up going to a food pantry to get some food because my daughter's been paying all the bills. She's been paying the rent, her car note, my car note, all the utilities, cable, phone bills. She's been paying everything. So I told her whenever I get back working, I said I'm going to treat her. I'm going to treat her really, really good. I even went and applied for some emergency food stamps, guys. Like, I know it's just one of those things. I got to do what I got to do to put food on the table, and I'm still waiting to hear about that too. I'm like, these are services, like I said, that my youngest daughter is 23. I couldn't tell the last time I got food stamps. Um, I mean, I don't know when the last time. It's probably been over a decade since I've gotten food stamps. Maybe longer than that. Like I said, she's 23 years old. I don't know when the last time I got food stamps. Um, Probably younger. I mean, longer than that. But I'm doing what I can to survive and put food on the table and make sure everything kind of keeps moving along. I've been applying to a lot of companies and uploading my resume. Um, and so, I'm getting a lot of calls. I've done interviews, I've done phone interviews, I've done in-person interviews. And so I'm just waiting to hear, whatever hits. I'm even to the point where I'm even applying for, part-time positions, something, just to kind of, get things going in the right direction and, making sure that I'm contributing, the way I need to be contributing to help her out. She's a rock star, helping out and, I appreciate it. So make sure you guys go to her channel and say, you know, good looking out, Ariel. Her name is I Am Lovely Monet. I call it, her name is Ariel Monet, but her channel is I Am Lovely Monet. Go and like her channel. Give her a shout out for helping her mom. I can say that I don't know what I would be doing if she wasn't here helping me out. So please show my daughter some love for stepping up and helping mom out and keeping me grounded and on my feet. I should be doing this for her. I should be helping her out. But this is a life lesson, and she and I are you know, hitting it together. So make sure you go to I Am Lovely Monet to, subscribe to her channel and just say, we appreciate you helping your mom out. Show me some love by showing her some love. I'm doing whatever I can to kind of show her how much I appreciate her. And, I couldn't even give her any Christmas gift. I couldn't even get my grandkids anything for Christmas. This is sad. Like, I'm not looking at this as a Debbie Downer moment. I'm looking at this as, when I went to the food pantry yesterday, this I don't know what she calls herself, specialist. Um, Her name was Danielle, and she was so nice and she was so lovely. She hugged me. She said, "It'll get better, honey." She was like, you never know what you're gonna need until you need it. She said, "Things happen in life," and she says, just pick your feet up. And she told me a quote that she heard on the Steve Harvey show. She says that and I, I'm taking this to heart, looking at this as, what, your soul is right. She was like, when a door closes, turn around and walk down the hallway and go out of another door. Now I know I had to think about that. She said, not think about that. And she says, when one door closes, just turn around. There's plenty of other doors that you can go out of. If that door is locked and closed, turn around. You have other alternate routes. Look at those other alternate routes to see where those doors will take you. She said, if you're in a hallway where there's only one door, then you set yourself up for failure. So what I'm doing is turning around and I'm looking at all these other doors and I'm choosing which door is the right one for me. And so, I'm reinventing myself and, I'm looking at life as many doors to choose from. Like I said, I've been uploading my resume, making sure that looks good and making sure, I'm making myself available. And in the meantime, I'm just going to be here just chit chatting with you guys and, letting you guys get to know me. And please go to my channel, Rose J Creates. You're already watching me now. Please go and subscribe to my channel. I need to plug this laptop up. Give me 1 second, guys, because I need to plug this up. It's the battery's getting low. Hold on. Let me plug this up. Jesus.